What's up, traders? This is Vee Trades, and today I will be doing a technical analysis breakdown for MicroStrategy Incorporated with the ticker symbol MSTR. I will first be going over what I see on the daily chart and finish the video off with the weekly chart. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Please trade at your own risk. So MicroStrategy, another down day today, about 3% so far. It will probably close red for the day. I don't expect this to reverse higher. Even if it does reverse higher, this is still in bearish territory, and let's go over the reasons why. So price is below this downtrend line right over here. So off the swing highs, it's below that trend line. So we'll go over the bearish side first, and then we'll go over the bullish side. You have to be realistic with your analysis and be rational. So we have to look at both sides of the story, the bulls and bears. So we're going to look at the bear side first. So the bears have this downward trend line going for them. They have this measure move target going for them as well. This is all one large drop. In the future, we can see a similar size drop. That's why these measure move targets are highly accurate. So that target's right around the 236, 240 level. Bears also have this gap fill attempt going for them. So that's a good target as well. And also, bears are being supported by this prior support level at the 363 level. This was prior support, as you can see here. I'll use my arrow. This was resistance, price pushed through, support, 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 price pushed through. Price tried to reverse higher but failed, so now it's acting as overhead resistance. So we have a horizontal resistance, we have a trend line resistance, we have a measurement target, we have a gap fill, and that's basically everything I see on the weekly chart so far. And price is below the EMA, which is not a good sign. You can see that price strongly pushed through, and normally that can indicate a trend reversal, at least in the short term. So again, the downside targets have never left. They are still in play. We have been seeing a lot of consolidation take place for the past couple of days now, or several days. So this may just continue consolidating. We don't know for sure it's going to break down lower. No one knows for sure. So we could just be in this tight consolidation pattern for maybe the rest of this month. There's only, a few days left anyway in the month, but we could just continue trading sideways. But there is minor support at the 320. So let's go over the bullish side now. So that was the bearish case. Now let's go over the bullish case. What do the bulls have to stop the price from dropping? Well, they have this bullish trend line right here, but again, this could also be a bearish thing as well, because look at price hit the trend line, it barely went up, and we're back at the trend line again, which is not a good sign. You don't want to see price come to a trend line and bounce and then come back to it again. It's not the end of the world. That's not a good sign, as you can see right now. It's not showing conviction by the bulls. They don't want to defend the level, and it looks like we could be seeing a breakdown lower. And again, you could use a bullish trend line as a bullish case. You can also put horizontal levels here for support at the 318. Price did bounce over here, and we did see a bounce at the same level. So there's that horizontal level. And that's basically all the bullish signs I could see on the daily chart using just going back to September price action or market structure. You can see that price is on the second attempt of reaching the measure move target. This is all one leg down. First attempt lower, second attempt lower, and this could be the second attempt of the second attempt, which could be the final attempt down. It's not guaranteed we go lower. Keyword is attempt. The market does not move in guarantees. It moves in attempts. Keyword is attempt. The bears are attempting to reach that gap and that measure move target. We'll see if they succeed. As right now, they have been showing signs of strength to the downside. So we'll see if they can get there. So that's how I'm looking at MicroStrategy and daily weekly chart. Just to summarize what's been going on, we have been seeing this pullback still continue lower. Basically, I expect to continue lower as of right now. What would invalidate my target to the downside is if we see a strong push up above that 360 level with conviction. That would tell me that the chart or the price action is looking more bullish now instead of bearish. But as of now, this is still looking bearish until invalidated. I'm expecting this pullback to continue probably for the next couple of weeks. It looks like it's still kind of slow. It's taking its time. Bitcoin is also dropping. Why don't I just look at Bitcoin? Is because they correlate so well that you can look at one or the other. Basically, if MicroStrategy is dropping, that really tells you like what Bitcoin is doing. So what's the point of looking at Bitcoin's chart? Not 100% of the time. So that's why you have to look at MicroStrategy isolated because it's not going to correlate 100% of the time. But most in most cases, if MicroStrategy is dropping, what do you think Bitcoin is dropping? If MicroStrategy is going up, what do you think Bitcoin is doing? So I mean, it's pretty correlated, but not 100% of the time. So you can't just do Bitcoin and say that's what MicroStrategy is doing. You can't just say Bitcoin is up today, so MicroStrategy is up today, because that's not going to happen all the time. And you can't just say Bitcoin is down, MicroStrategy is down, because that's not going to happen all the time. So you have to just look at one or the other, but there is a correlation between them. So that's all I have for the daily chart. Now let's take a look at the weekly chart. You can see that the weekly chart is supporting the thesis that price does drop lower. Why? Because you see that blue line right here. Price does like to pull back to that blue line in these overextended moves. Just like price was overextended back here in March, it pulled back to the blue line in about 6 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks. And now it looks like we're pulling back to the blue line, which is right at that gap fill and that 270 target. So there is that downward pressure also on that weekly chart where this pullback is still in place. So it's not guaranteed we go lower, but as right now, it is still looking likely we go lower. And those are my targets that I mentioned. And let me go and zoom out, show you guys the log scale as well. This is important because I'm not long-term bearish. I'm long-term bullish for MicroStrategy. I believe this is just a pullback, and we have not seen the actual top yet. I think this is a temporary top, just like over here was a temporary top right over here. So if you cover up that price action on the right side of the chart or that market structure, you can see that this looked like a top, and people were thinking, oh man, we hit the top, it's done now. And look what happened. Price continued to rally higher. So same thing can happen right here. We don't know what's going to happen on the right side of the chart, but I think this top will be taken out when this pullback is over. Why? Because this uptrend channel still looks very good, and we haven't seen the signs of a trend ending. This still looks very good to the upside. We're just finding resistance. Price is pulling back from being overextended, which is a good sign. Whenever price gets too overextended, you need it to cool off. You don't want it to keep on going and have a blow off top, because then you won't be able to recover. Basically, if you see something like this, that means the bulls just gave everything they have, and it's not sustainable. It's basically going to be short-lived, and price will just collapse back down to where it started. So we're not seeing that right now. This is a nice pace. We're seeing a pullback take place, which is a good sign. It's coming back to the EMA, filling in the gap. I think once we see probably sub 300, probably the 270. I don't think it gets to the 240, but I think there's a good chance we get to 270 as of right now. It's not guaranteed, but as right now, it's still in play, and I have to stick with whatever's still in play. So overall, expecting lower prices for MicroStrategy in the short term, higher prices in the long term. We can look at a measured leg up, one leg up right here, drag this over. This will be the second leg up, and that is targeting right around that 1,500, between the $1,500 and $1,600 price target. So I'm expecting that for MicroStrategy. That's not that far away. We just hit 543, and let's just say we triple that previous high. We double it to get to 1,000. We triple it to get to 1,500, and that means Bitcoin would have to triple, or at least probably double, because MicroStrategy is going to move up more. So let's say Bitcoin doubles from 100,000 to 200,000. I think you can get to 1,500 from there. Probably even lower. It might only be 170,000 or 80,000. And Bitcoin will probably get to those price levels next year. So all I have for MicroStrategy in the daily, weekly charts. Expect more downside in the short term. It's not guaranteed, but it is still in play. But overall, the chart is still very bullish long term. So all I have for MicroStrategy in the daily, weekly charts is the Vee Trades, and thank you for your time.